Good day, everybody. Welcome to this webinar about GlobalVision Quality Control Platform. Okay, let's get started. Today we will be talking about the Quality Control Platform. We will be going over the different modules that are there, what GlobalVision intends to help you do with this software, and how to do it, and I will be ending with a demonstration of the product. So, why would you use automated proofreading? Why would you use the GlobalVision software? It's quite easy. Computers are really fast. So imagine that you have a label for maybe something simple, a water bottle, a label for a water bottle. And you have all the text that has to be on that label in a Word doc file. That would be one full page in a Word file, maybe. And it will be all small fonts. It will be all the numbers on the bottle. It will take quite a while for a person to manually proofread this label and to find all the errors. And the errors might be simple things. They might be just a period at the end of a sentence that's missing. A computer is able to find this difference really fast to see this period is missing. So you could change hours of proofreading for a simple label to several seconds. Now think of the little paper add-on that they put with medication that has so much text on it in 20 different languages. And think how long it would take a person to read that. Think of Arabic and Asian languages that people without knowledge of the language won't even be able to read. A computer will be able to do this, and a computer will be able to do it fast. Now, the second reason I have on the screen right now is people make mistakes. I don't mean mistakes in proofreading here. I mean mistakes in the workflow, and it's not something on purpose, of course, but maybe you typed a little bit too fast. Maybe the graphic artist did a copy of a certain amount of artwork, but one element didn't get copied and it is missing on the final result. You wouldn't be able to notice that right away because you're working and you're in your workflow and you copied all the material. You think you're doing fine, but maybe some part of a graphic is missing. And if you only notice that after after your artwork, your product is already printed, it's going to cost you a lot of money. Now, this is an honest mistake. This is not something on purpose, but it will still be costing the company a lot of money. The computer will see the missing artwork immediately. Now, how does it work? How does GlobalVision work? It automatically compares a working file to an already approved file. So if you have packaging, a lot of your text material has passed through a legal department because they want to make sure that the ingredient list and the allergens and all that stuff is compliant with the laws for these. For example, allergens have to be in bold, so that it will likely have passed through some legal department during the workflow. Now, this file can be compared to a layout packaging file where the images have been added, where everything is in the right position. So you have this document that contains all the original checked data, and you have this finished result. In between these two stages, a lot has happened with that file. It has gone through a lot of different people for a lot of different reasons. And maybe along the way, something happened. Now, GlobalVision compares the checked file with this file that has been laid out and that has been made ready for print, and will find the differences. All the differences are highlighted, are numbered, and are reported in a nice report. So those are the two next things. All the differences are highlighted on your screen. You are able to go through them one by one to see what's up, and then you can generate a full PDF report for review, for approval, or for any kind of database that you're keeping. The Quality Control Platform is GlobalVision's recently new way of presenting their products. A lot of these products already existed before, but they were in separate products. They were products on their own. And now all the GlobalVision products are gathered into one simple UI, one pleasant UI, and it's called the Quality Control Platform. You can see I have 7 modules on my screen. I have graphics inspection, print inspection, spelling inspection, Braille inspection, text inspection, barcode inspection, and color inspection. Color inspection has only been released this week. It is a very recent addition. I will be able to show you how it works for the first time. Now, the other 6 already existed a little bit longer, and we will be going over all of these one by one. Graphics inspection is the first one I will be showing you. The previous name for this module was Artproof. You might know this already. So what does graphics inspection do? It is able to instantly detect changed information, missing information, moved information, added texts, color differences, differences in layout and images. Basically anything that is a high enough difference with the original file, with the master file, can be detected. How does that work? It's a pixel by pixel comparison. Now, of course, you can think a lot of things might be 1 pixel that are totally unnecessary to find. There are profiles you can use to detect only the changes that you want to see. So you can refine a profile to make sure you have the least possible false positives, but you find all the important differences. You can see on the screen on the example, the OLAP logo on the left in the master file is black, and on the sample file it is yellow. And the difference is picked up, obviously, because it's a big difference. Then, the second module is print inspection. This you won't find as it on its own in the quality control platform. The reason for that is that print inspection is actually part of the graphics inspection. But it's definitely technology and a module on its own. So what print inspection is able to do is use a scanned file, so a file that has been printed and scanned in, and compare your master file to your scanned printed file. Now, your printed file might be, as here in the example, a repeated file. It might even have rotated elements in there, so they won't all be in the exact same orientation as they are here. But that doesn't really matter. The print inspection is really smart. It can detect all the different repeats of the product, and it can check them one by one and show the mistakes for each repeat separately. Now, the print inspection is really powerful because it's able to take a scan, which is an image file, which is usually not the highest quality depending on the scanner, depending on the situation. And it will be able to compare your digital file, which is pristine, which doesn't have any marks on it, and compare it with a relatively low amount of false positives, and still giving you all the necessary differences. This includes a way to calculate, for example, if your scanned image might be skewed a little bit because the paper wasn't completely straight on the scanners, so you can calculate that out. All these things are in there. Now, actually about the print inspection, I'm actually going to say that first before I go to the next one. I'm talking about scanned files here. Now, not everybody has a scanner that is able to scan a press sheet, of course. Well, GlobalVision has several different scanners that they produce themselves, that they have helped in development, and they sell these scanners as well. So you have large format roll scanners, you have flatbed scanners, they even have a non-contact scanner. All of these come in sizes from A0 to A4. Recently, ever since I think a few months ago, they have a cylindrical scanner that you can use to scan bottles and cans directly instead of having to scan a flat design, which means, for example, if you have a Coke can where the design is printed on the bottle and not on a separate label that can be scanned separately, you can actually scan the Coke can directly and compare the results from within the application. So all these scanners are available, and one of these I will come back to in the color inspection module. Now, as I was going to spelling inspection, this is, well, you would think your average spell check, of course. So you're able to do a spell check of your documents in pretty much any language you can think of. We will see all the languages that are in the application soon. And this works the way your spell check would work. So you can open up a document, do your text inspection, and do your reporting of all the errors. The benefits of spelling inspection compared to a regular spell check in your average, I don't know, Microsoft Office is that it contains a special medical dictionary that you can use, because GlobalVision originally came from the pharma industry, where a lot of medical packaging and medical print was inspected. They have really strict standards on what is on the box and how it is. And it's of course very important that you don't make any mistakes with medicine, because if your milligrams becomes milliliters, or if your 2 milligrams becomes 20, then you have a large problem and people could potentially get hurt. So because of this relation to the pharma industry from the beginning, they actually have a medical dictionary included in their spelling inspection that contains already thousands of terms specifically for the medical industry. These are not present in your average spell check library. Of course, it's multilingual, and you can build your own custom dictionaries that contain the specific words that you would find in your documents. For example, your company name or your product names could be in there so they don't show up as errors. So the spelling inspection is actually pretty strong and is being used by a lot of companies already. Then Braille inspection. Now, of course, if you are your average person, for example, if I look at myself, I can't read Braille. So if you have Braille on a packaging and you have to check it yourself and see if the Braille that has been put on the packaging is correct, how will you do that? You can use, maybe as the image shows, a translation box that shows you all the different letters, and then go compare them yourself and see if it's correct. Well, GlobalVision can do a lot more. It can translate instantly. It can tell you which dots are missing by comparing, once again, your master file to your sample file, and tell you, oh, these dots are missing, these dots have been added, your result is now this. It can also tell you the size of the dots, the space between the letters. For all of these things, there are standards, there are rules. Now, if you're in the pharma industry and the rules say that your Braille letters have to be this amount of millimeters apart from each other to be perfectly legible, and they are very strict in the industry, then you want to comply to that. So being able to see that very accurately and instantly is interesting if you have need of this on your packaging. Then text inspection is what I was mentioning earlier as well. Text inspection, what it does is it compares your master file to your sample file again, but from, for example, a Word document to a layouted PDF. Now, the inspection simultaneously reads both documents and compares their text on the two separate documents. The inspection is not based on a pixel by pixel basis. In the art proof, in the graphic inspection, you will actually also see differences in text, because the pixels will be different and it will show up. But text inspection works differently. It works by comparing the values behind the letters. So it compares the UTF-8 value of your sample to the UTF-8 of your master. And because of this encoding, it is able to tell the differences really accurately, not depending on the visual look of the letter. This means it could be a different font, and you could be notified depending on the profile if it's a different font, but it's easier to compare the text to layouted text if it doesn't have to look at visuals, but at the data, the Unicode data behind the text. And once again, this works with any language because it compares the Unicode's data. And then the barcode inspection. This is already the 6th module, I believe I'm talking about. So the barcode inspection is in a similar idea as the Braille inspection. You can verify the barcode contains the data you want it to contain. Once again, as with Braille, I am not able to read the barcodes. I would have to check rigorously if it is correct. But GlobalVision is able to just read the barcodes instantly, tell you what it means, and even grade it immediately. So barcode inspection, as you can see on the screen, this barcode has been graded D. This depends on a lot of different factors. It is the print quality, it is the contrasts, the size. All these things matter for a barcode to be perfectly legible in stores. So you want it to be good on the packaging, and it scans like that. So you will get a comprehensive report of all the barcodes that you have on your product, and it is able to read pretty much any barcode type you can think of. I will show that later. It is able to read pretty much all of them. So you won't have to have this barcode scanner on your desk or use your phone to scan your screen of whatever things that you might be doing now to decode barcodes. And then the color inspection. You can see I changed the logo on this one because it is really new and I don't have an in-app screenshot of it yet. But this is what the color inspection will do. It's a very interesting new module that is able to compare color really accurately between the master and the sample. So as graphics inspection can tell you that the name of the product is now yellow instead of black, color inspection will be able to tell you in delta E, which is the color differences calculation, it will be able to tell you exactly how many delta E difference there is. Now for this, there is also standards. So anything above a delta E of 3 would be considered not good enough. For some companies, like for example, I'm going to use Coca-Cola again, they likely have strict rules about the printed packaging that has to be their Coca-Cola red, of course. So they probably have strict rules saying it has to be within a delta E of 2, for example. It has to be a really, really close match because their brand depends on the brand color. Now you can decode colors immediately to the Pantone value of the color, so it will tell you which Pantone is closest to the colors. Of course, this isn't possible just randomly. GlobalVision has a deal with Pantone and with X-Rite. They have worked together to create this application. The GlobalVision application now contains all the Pantone books, so all the colors are in the database for GlobalVision. And they use integrated X-Rite spectrophotometers in their scanners. So I was talking about scanners earlier. They created new scanners for the color inspection module that contain an integrated X-Rite spectrophotometer to accurately measure color. And this is just as accurate as your average handheld spectrophotometer. So it's a really good way to quickly scan colors. Now the difference between a handheld spectrophotometer and the GlobalVision color inspection is that GlobalVision is able to compare the exact same spots on your packaging and on your sample and on your master instantly. So if you have a step and repeat file as here, and I choose 3 spots on my packaging that I want to compare, I choose them on the master. It will see the repetitions on the packaging on the press sheet, and it will measure those 3 spots on every single repeat and compare them all to the master file. Now, if you want to do that with a handheld spectrophotometer, you'll be working a while and you won't be as accurate. GlobalVision will be as accurate, and it will be pretty much instantly. So that is the color inspection module. Now let's look at what an application would look like. This is a very convenient application, of course. You can see the graphics inspection picked up the color difference for the S on the watts at the top. The color inspection could tell you exactly how big that color difference is if you want to know that. Now the print inspection saw that there was a printing error in the W and that it got split. So that's a good thing. The spelling inspection noticed the white has a spelling error. The Braille inspection is able to translate the Braille code on the packaging and tell you what it means or if it is different from the master. Text inspection can compare the text on the packaging to your master file and see if everything is there, if nothing has changed between the master and the sample. And the barcode inspection can decode your barcode, tell you what it means, and grade it to see if it is the correct quality that you want on your packaging. Overall, this means GlobalVision is able to tell you pretty much all you need to know about the quality of your print and what is different, has happened to your file ever since making it to where it is in your process. Now, where would you use GlobalVision in your company? Where would you use the specific modules? Text inspection is most useful in between the copywriting, where the text is written, where the text is checked. You can see the text is being checked by legal, by marketing, by regulatory. All the different people have to check their specific parts of the text on the packaging to see if it is completely up to compliance to all the possible standards. So then it goes to artwork. The artwork person, the layout person, puts it on the packaging. And there you want to see, has nothing changed because it has been copy pasted, it has been edited for fonts and for whatnot. So maybe something changed, maybe something important changed. You want to find that out, you can use text inspection. Text inspection works between the original file and the PDF that you make of the artwork file because both still contain live text. And you need live text because you want to compare the Unicode values of the text. So further down the line, text inspection will no longer work because you cannot get the live text of a printed product, obviously. So there we use graphics inspection. In between the artwork and the proof that is being made in prepress, you use the graphics inspection. It can check the graphics, it can check the labels, there's a lot of people that want to check if the graphics are the way you want them to be, if there are no differences in color, if you want to see that the proof is the same color as your original. You want to see if any element went missing during prepress. For example, maybe something in transparency happened and you lost part of a graphic. You want to make sure you notice that. That is where graphics inspection comes into play, at that point in the workflow. And then beyond prepress, we no longer have a PDF file, which means we need print inspection. We need to scan the production file and compare it to the prepress file or compare it to the artwork file to see if the printed product is still good and still perfect compared to the way that you wanted it to be in the beginning. Okay, so let's look at that from a different angle. Let's see the people doing this. So product development works on a product, makes sure that everything is the way that it's supposed to be. Graphic design makes the layout. You want to compare if it is still correct, you use text inspection. Graphic design sends the layout to marketing approval. You want to make sure that it is good for print. You use graphics inspection and you see that everything is fine, or this thing happened somewhere in graphic design. Because of course, in text inspection, you wouldn't notice that, but you will when you see the approved file and the graphic file. And then you have the print inspection between the approved graphics file and the printed product using one of the GlobalVision scanners, or you can connect pretty much any scanner, but the GlobalVision ones are decent enough. So if you want to know more about those products, you can go to their website. They actually have a great lineup. Okay, here we are. We went through all the modules. I will be showing them to you one by one with example files and show you how they work and what you can expect of the UI and how it behaves. Now on this slide, I will also draw your attention to the information at the bottom. On the right, you see my name. My name is Michiel. I am 4Pieces Application Specialist, and you can see my email below. Now, on the left side, you see two more email addresses. If you have any questions, technical questions about the product, requests for demonstrations, maybe a demonstration for yourself or for your company, or any more information about what the product can do, or problems you have with the product, you can mail to support@4piece.com, and one of our support people, me or David, most likely will respond to your message. Now, if you mail to orders@4piece.com, you can send them any commercial questions. You can ask them for trial licenses. You can talk to them if you want to purchase the product. They will be able to help you out there. Of course, you can mail me personally if you want to. I recommend sending your email to support@4piece.com because there is more people watching that inbox and you'll get a reply a bit sooner than if you mail to my personal inbox when I might not be around. Okay, that is the end of the presentation and we shall go straight into the product. Now, I am using GlobalVision Quality Control Platform on my Windows virtual machine that is running on my Mac. There is a native Mac application, but the Windows version is a bit more comprehensive. There is more information, more updated software in the Windows version of the product. There is also fairly recently an online web version of the GlobalVision platform. It's called GlobalVision Web. Which works the exact same way as you will see here, but it is online and it is managed on the GlobalVision servers. That way you don't have to install it on your system. You can have multiple people log in to from your company log into it and use it without having to have each installation on your system, on their systems, or have a licensing server, a user server on your systems to manage this all. You can see when I open the application, I get a login screen. This is because I have a user management in here. This is also necessary in the typical pharma workflow because you have to keep track of who is doing what. So all the people who are checking your files needs to be identified when they're checking the files, because if you have a production error somewhere, you will likely want to know who checked the file and what happened. So it's important that you know who did it. This is what the GlobalVision Quality Control Platform UI looks like. So it's really clean, it's really simple. You have all the different modules at the top here. So you have graphics, which contains print inspection. You have color inspection, barcode, braille, text, and spelling, all here at the top. You have an action that you want to do. This will differ per application. You have a profile you want to use. You can manage these yourself. You can create your own profiles depending on your needs, or you can use one of the default profiles that are present that are actually fit for one of the applications that they describe. You can check with this button here, you can perform your inspection. You can perform multiple inspections if you would like to perform any of these at the same time. So if you have multiple modules licensed, you can perform all the inspections of all your modules at the same time and get one report containing all this information instead of checking one by one. This button over here allows you to change your profile. So this is the profile. You can edit the profile here, so you can see different things that you can do there. This is the big reports button, and this help button can tell you about your licensing or direct you to GlobalVision support. Now, I skipped a few buttons on the left. This folder button is where you can load your files, load your samples, create a new job, you can change the resolution, and you have your user admin over here. So you can do your user maintenance where you give every user in your company the rights that they need, change your password, and the preferences for the application are in there as well. You can set your language, you can define your default color profiles, define your job settings where you want to look for files, define your cache path if you want to have a different temp folder than the default one, and the report path. You can change this when you're making a report as well. So that is what the preferences window looks like. The button next to it is your scan button. If you have the print inspection module licensed, you will have this button active and you can connect to your scanner. This will not work because I do not have a scanner attached to this computer. Or you can say scan a master file, scan a sample file, which will open the scanning interface and help you scan your documents into the application. Now, let's start with the first module. Let's start with the graphics inspection. So you can see I am on graphics inspection. It is in red when it is the active module. I just double click to load a file. This is for the master file. So the master is on the left. Let's go to the graphics inspection folder I made here. I have a master file. There we are, the same cosmetics file that we used earlier in the presentation. I will also load my sample. Okay, so you can see master file, sample file. Now suddenly a lot of extra information is added. You can see on the left the page boxes that you have are here, the layers that you have. So if I want to remove the Braille layer, I can disable the Braille layer. This also works for the artwork layer. You can see I can empty my file completely. And you have all the separations present in the file. So you have your process colors down at the bottom. So if I disable yellow, apparently nothing happens because the yellow is a Pantone color. If I disable the Pantone color, you can see it is all gone. So you have all your separations here. This helps, for example, if you have a varnish layer. The varnish layer is always in overprint, which means you will have a big, for example, pink shape all over your box, everywhere there is varnish, and you will not be able to even see anything, never mind compare anything. So you'll be able to just disable that layer and see what you want to see. This is really easy. Now, another use of this is I have my cut layer here, I have my die line. So I do not want to compare the master here to sample here because that makes no sense. So what I will do is I will exclude anything outside of the die line. I will say set as shape region and height, and it really cuts the file on the die line, and it will only compare anything within that cut. Now, on the sample side, you have the same information. So you have the possibility to disable and enable certain lines. You can see in the layers you have die line, Braille, etc. So you can do that. And then let's go to the top and say this is not single to many, this is one to one. And it is not digital to scan, it is actually digital to digital because this is the confirmed file and this is the artwork file. So if I perform this inspection, see inspecting, it said one repeat and we are inspected. Well, this isn't very good. You can see all the differences in the file are detected. Now, of course, some of these that you see here are not differences you want to see. You can see it detected all the die lines differences because you cannot see them here and you have this black line here. So let's just go single page. I'm going to change the settings a little bit and see if this gives me. There we are. This is better. So if you change the profile as well, you will also be able to do this kind of stuff. So this is more the result that I would prefer to see. You can see on the right, you have one repeat found and you have 13 differences found. Now, if I click difference number 1, oh, there is a dot missing. That is not good. I will say this is either a critical, a major, a minor, or an ignore. I will say this is a critical and I will include it in the report. Now you can see the children under 3 months or children under 3 years. That is also a huge difference. You will see this is a critical. At the top here, you can see you can also enter a comment or enter any of the preset comments. So if I say text, because it is a text error, then this will be a comment. But if you want to say something specific, you can also enter something specific into that comment. So I will put it on text for now, include that one as well. This is also a huge error, critical, milligram to milliliter, include that one as well. There is a color difference here. I'll make that a major, include. This is also something really different from what we were supposed to see, include. You can see it detected the difference between the not bold font and the bold font. But you can also see this thing jumping back and forth, this set. This means there is a pixel difference between where the Z is on the sample and the master file, but you can also see that there's no big red box around it. So the program is smart enough to know that this is not what you're looking for. This is okay. So it didn't set that as an error, while it did notify us this is different. So I will make this major. Oh, this is a big difference in the Braille. This is a completely different letter. Critical. B3 and B6, critical. There is a period missing, just because, there we go. There is an entire item missing. This complete thing is not on the sample file. Critical. This graphic is a little bit different. That also got picked up. So you see how small the differences only have to be for this to be different. I will call this, I don't know, major. I could call it a minor, I suppose. Include. The color is different, critical because it's a brand color. The brand name has a space, it's not supposed to be there. And we're back at number 1. So we went through all the problems and we notified them all, and we even added a comment to this one. You can all see the differences back on the right. Now, since we're done with the inspection, we will want to do the reporting. Click report. We give it the product ID. I will call this one OLAP. This is cosmetic. And inspected by me, the admin user. This is automatically filled in. You can't edit it. You can see I'm clicking. You can't edit this field. This is filled in by the user that is logged in to log that the person that did the inspection that said the file was okay or not okay. You can select a status, a pass or a fail here. I will leave it on select status for now because I want to show something else. You can choose your report's paths. I will put it not in print inspection, but in graphics inspection, select folder. And the report name is filled in because I put it an ID here. Save. Now you see I didn't say pass or fail. It's telling me, oh, please set the inspection status to pass or fail because it's very important if the file passed or failed. Of course it failed. Generating report. Okay. Now I have the reports in my, let's go here, and I will put this Finder window over here, graphics inspection. You can see I have the report here. Let's open it up for a second. So you see, oh, this is actually the wrong inspection. Let's go. It collected the 2 inspections I did because I already did an inspection earlier. So this is the one I'm looking for. You can see it failed. The ID is OLAP. Product lot is not set, and the product name is cosmetic. You can see who inspected it. The admin inspected on this time and this day, and what settings that I use. All the differences are highlighted on the preview here, and then you go one by one through the differences. So difference ID 1 is this missing dot. You can see the difference is the dot. Months and years, the difference is this mess here. You can see the difference level. I call these 2 critical. Now you can see the comment that I added is here. It says comments text because the text is different, but you can add anything you want there, as I said before. Now this happens for all the differences in the file, and then at the bottom you will see the settings used for the inspection in detail, the profile that I used. And then here you have a big comment section because when you pause or fail a file, you can add more comments there as well. So that is the kind of report that you will see. And that's actually a very detailed report that you can use for any application that you would use a report for afterwards. Okay, and so we went through graphics inspection. Now I will reset. This is also a button I skipped earlier. You have back, which goes back to the previous view and back to the inspection view. So you can go back and forth between the 2. You can see on the left I have 2 inspections. This is why there were 2 inspections in my report. The one I did earlier is also in the report. So this is the one I wanted to see. And you have the big reset button that clears out everything that you've done, so you can start from blank. Now, print inspection. Let's start with the... Oh, this is not the file that I wanted. I wanted the master here. The master there. And I want to do this one here. So I'm going to go straight to the repeat one and not to the one scan. So this is the scan of a repeated file. We can say this is not single page, this is single to many. And once again, I will do the region for this. Here it is more important because it needs the region to be able to detect the amount of differences here, the amount of repeats here. I will say inspect. You see it's checking for repeats now. And you may think, oh, this takes a little while, but imagine that you had to do it yourself, and imagine that you had to take a close look at every single one of these to see what went wrong. I dare say there are differences in this step and repeat file that you wouldn't immediately see. You can see now it's aligning images, so if there is a little skew on the scanned page, it will be able to straighten that up automatically and make sure that the reading of the file is correct. I think I probably should have cleared my cache before doing this. I've been playing around with the VM for a while, and the virtual machine memory might be getting full. Okay, so this is taking longer than usual. Don't worry about it. It will finish soon enough. There we are. I may need to reboot the Windows machine during the webinar because I would like this to go faster for the rest of the demo. So you can see this is not an important thing, so I'll exclude this from the check. Oh, broad became bored. That is a major error, and I will include that. And I will automatically move to the second repeat. Once again, I don't need that one, and this is the same one we saw before. So this one will be present in all the repeats, apparently. Oh, this is another difference. This is something new. Say critical, include, critical, because this is once again, you can see this wasn't on the previous repeat. The first three didn't have this difference, so it's only present on this repeat. And once again, that one. And we can keep going through all these repeats. Oh, you can see there was another difference in this one. No, that's this one. That's not a problem. Excludes. That's okay. I will be going through these because I know there is one of these repeats that has another problem that we haven't seen yet. So you can see it's picking up false positives every once in a while. But that's just simply because of the settings. If you, oh, this is a big difference, the dots are missing. If you change the settings to the perfect setting for you, then it will not pick up this many false positives. So this is a new error. I will say critical includes. We've seen this one a lot already. Include. Oh, a color difference. This is also a big difference. Critical include. And we're back to the next one. You can see it skipped repeat 14. Oh no, I didn't. Okay. There we are. We've seen all the pages and all the differences. Every time this thing was different. And once again, you'll be able to make a report where you see all these differences nicely set together. So that's print inspection. Okay, I will keep moving along because this demo is already going to take quite a while, and if I lag too long by the different places, then it's going to take even longer. So I have a master file here. This is text. This is spelling, I believe. I wasn't paying much attention. This is spelling inspection. So module number 3, we'll use spelling inspection here. You see there is no point in comparing a model to a sample in spelling inspection because that's not what you do with spelling. You compare whether the spelling of the file is right. So you can open multiple documents. I will open 2 different documents now. These do not contain the same text. But it's not comparing text anyway. You can see the actions here do not say compare. They say inspect master or inspect sample. Now the profile here doesn't have settings to change the accuracy of or the how big the differences are allowed to be. It just says the language. So you can see there is a whole list of languages that you can use to check the spelling. I will keep it on English because this is English. And it will say inspect master, inspect. You can see it's merging dictionaries, running the inspection, and there we are. Now, of course, Betamution is not a real word. It's a name for a product. So this is not a problem. Then the next one, Betamution again, GlobalVision, because it's a brand name. This is also to be expected. And globalvisioninc.com, because it's a web address, which is also not something that would be in a dictionary. So this file does not have any more spelling mistakes than this. If I go back and I say inspect sample, there we are. We have the sample inspected. This is going to be pretty much the same thing. So you can see DocuProof, which is the old name for the text inspection module. I can click through the errors like this. I can once again deliver them an error and give them a comment if I want to over here. So once again, there are comments here, and I can go through all the errors. Word processor, docuproof, spell check, well that's ironic, and spell checking, PageMaker, MS Word, freehand, all product names. So that is to be expected that they are not in the dictionary that is used. If you have your own custom dictionary, then you would be able to define all these words and they would not show up. I didn't have any text file available that had spelling errors, but you can see that it didn't pick up any of the recognized any of the other text wasn't picked up, so all the rest can be considered spelling error free. So that is a pretty good show of this product. That is basically what the spell check does. Did I have something else in spelling inspection? No. So let's go to Braille Inspection. I will open a master file and I will open a sample file. There we are, 2 files. And we can see there is Braille in this file. Now, as I said before, I'm not able to read Braille, but GlobalVision is. You have different actions here. You can inspect the master, the sample, and compare as well. So here you can compare. So I'll start by inspecting the master in English. Once again, you choose your language here. Inspect. There we have the inspection. You can see it recognized all the dots that are present. And on the right, you see the Braille region number 1, language English. The translation is Olap Light Lotion. You can see the amount of dots, the dots width, the characters that are being used, the amount of lines the characters are in, the spacing between the dots, the spacing between the characters, between the words, and between the lines, all of which is detected by GlobalVision. So that's fine. Let's go back and let's do the compare with the sample. We stay in English, compare. Now we detected both the master Braille and the sample Braille straight away in seconds. You can see over here, these 2 dots are missing. This dot is different. So you can see here there are 2 dots extra and there is a dot missing compared to the master. You can see on the right both translations. The sample translation is OLAD Light Lotion, the master OLAP Light Lotion. So we know that the sample has a mistake and we know which dots are missing. At the bottom here, you can see all the other differences. So there is one less dot on the, or one more dot on the sample than there is on the master. There is the same amount of characters, lines, difference here is the same, but the spacing between the words is a little bit different. It's 0.1 millimeter difference. So that is what the Braille inspection does. It reads Braille, it tells you what it says, and it's able to compare Braille to different Braille. Of course, the comparison with these green dots would also be visible in the graphics inspection because it's clearly also a pixel difference. So there we have Braille inspection, something that goes way faster doing it by this and trying to figure it out for yourself, which is really all what GlobalVision is all about, making this stuff really fast. And as always, you could have made a report of that, but we've seen the report. It's always the same thing. It just shows you the settings that you've used and the resulting errors. Now, text inspection, which is not the same as the graphic inspection. Let's start with this label. You can see it's not the same because text inspection can be used with laid out labels rather than the text file. So we have both our labels. And how many errors do you think are in this file? How many errors can you detect immediately? I will warn you, there are 2 pages. So we have also this page. You can see there is 2 pages. How many errors can you see in here? I would allow you to answer that question, but let's not make this complicated. I'll simply do the inspection. So I'll compare all the pages because we have 2 pages in this document. And I will say they are the same layout because they are the same layout. And I will do the inspection. Inspecting, etc. And there we are. So the first error it found is the master says water, the sample says water, so with 2 T's. That's not good. You can see at the bottom, water is in the little red box with 2 T's in the box on the sample. And over here, you have the Unicode translation letter per letter. You can see this extra T in yellow has been added. So that is the difference. It is fairly clear. This is a critical error, and I will move on with this button here to the next one. Healthy and healthy is missing an H. Once again, you can see the H is here. You can see that the master says healthy and the sample says healthy, and you can see it is a change in value. So that is also a critical error. Oh, I accidentally had to with me. There we go. The next one, 0% became 8%. We have at the bottom the difference. You can see it's a change. And this is also critical. And then we will move on. You can see calcium and calcium. It's a small difference. You might not have noticed that straight away. I bet this wasn't one of the ones that you saw earlier when I asked the question. So you can see it's a change. It's calcium to calcium. And this is also critical. Let's move on. You can see it also detects a color difference. So this is in black, this is in red. It actually has no difference in code, but it has a difference in color. Now, it would also be able to detect bold, italic, underline, all these things. This is actually a good place to look at the settings. You can see I have pretty much everything checked here. It's able to detect differences in insertions, deletions, changes, which is what most of these are. Color, which is checked. This is why they find the black and the red. Spaces, hyphens, italic and bold, which is something that you might not want to use for your regular text inspection. But bold is very important, once again, for allergens in packaging, for example. Underline, superscript and subscript, line break spaces, the location on the file. This is only here because we said it was the same layout. The cases, font type, sizes. Font type is also not something that you would have active if you're comparing like a docx file with a laid out file. And then we have the size of the fonts. So we also have the languages, left to right or right to left or Asian. This is important because the right to left language has to be interpreted differently. The correction level is on low because that's just how strict you're making it. You can choose a template and you can go even advanced and change some more stuff. So there is a lot of settings in here that can help you make this perfect for your document with the least possible false positives. Now, if I reset this, and take the other file that I had in here, I have the cosmetic carton again. You can see I have my sample file. There we are. We've seen this before. And I have the text file for it. So this is often how it would be used. Now, of course, if I just do an inspection like this, that's not going to give us much. Everything is different. So it makes sense that that wouldn't work. So I'm going to say it's a different layout, and I'm going to use the cartons and labels profile, not the inserts and booklets profile. So cartons and labels. Now, still the inspection won't work. What I want to do is inspect certain parts of the document to certain other parts of the document. So for example, I will look for the directions. I will take my zoning tool at the bottom and I will say this part of the text is the same as this part of the text here. This 6 Oz thing is the same as this here at the bottom. Now the all day UV moisturizer is over here. This is zone number 3, and this is also zone number 3. I hope, yes. Then we have let's zoom in a bit more so I see what's going on. I have this all day moisturizer non-greasy lotion here. This is this bit. Then the daily facial moisturizer for sensitive skin, 24 hours, all the way to vitamin B5 is over here. The active ingredients is over here. The warnings are over here, like that. Then we have questions and comments, which is here. And then we have still some more, but I think this will already show the check. Actually, I'm going to do the barcode as well. So I'll go to page 2. I think the barcode number is here. So I can choose the barcode number with number 9. This lot exp could be checked with this. What else do I have? I can actually check them all. GlobalVision ink, that is over here. And Olap Light Lotion I don't know where that is, whatever. So we have all these little zones checked. So now we will ask the system to compare each zone with each zone that is in this thing. Let's click inspect. You can see it's inspecting text zone 1, 2, 3, 4, and it goes on till it's inspected all the zones for differences. And there we are, generating a report. And okay, so the difference here might not be obvious, but you can see at the top, the type is bold. That's a difference. Same with the next one. The type is bold now, which is a difference. The B3 is B6, we knew that. The phone number changed, we did with an extra period. So what happened here? The only difference at the bottom you can see is, oh, oops, let's try and get that off again. Come on, there we are. Okay, so you can see the only difference here you can see here is the periods that has been added. So it even detects small things like that. Lotion is in bold. The barcode is seen as italic, but it's likely because it's skewed. There is a change, months and years. We knew that one. Milligram to milliliters, we know that one as well. Now, if I don't want all these bolds and italics, then I just have to go to settings and I have to uncheck them. And then they will not be seen in the check. So this is how you would usually use the text inspection as well. So it can actually handle pretty complex information. Okay, back to the reset. I think we have 2 more modules to do. Let's check the barcodes. This is actually fairly simple. I'll just show off. So I'll say I'll take this one. You can see all these different barcodes here. I will open another one here. I think this one or maybe this one. Let's use this one. Yeah, QR codes. Okay. So I will say I want to not compare, but we have to go to barcode first. I can say inspect the master. You can choose a profile for either normal or rotated. And you will see in the master all the barcodes here, all these different types have been detected. And at the right, you see they have all been identified as the kind of barcode that they are. Now, if I click a barcode, it will zoom in on it and it will give you all the information and grade it as grade A. So if I go to the next one, you can see it is also grade A. They are all grade A, I think. But you can see all of these have been read and all of these have been decoded, and the decoded value is at the bottom over there. And basically instantly for a whole page full of barcodes. If I go back, I can inspect the sample, inspect, and you will see this also works for the QR codes. We have data matrix, we have QR, and we have micro QR, and all of these have been detected, graded, and decoded. Now, I said I wasn't going to do this, but let's do it anyway. I have the master food label and I have the sample food label. Finally, we're not looking at something with the OLAB logo on it. You can see there is a barcode on these packagings. I will say the inspect rotated, and I will be able to inspect the sample even when it has been rotated. So there we are. We have one code and it gives this value. So that is the barcode inspection. So it's not doing comparisons, but it's telling you what the barcode is, and it's translating it for you so you know what's going on with it. Now, I think the last module we have to do is the new one, the color inspection. So I have a master file and I have a sample file. So you will not have seen this before, it's really new, unless you were at their unveiling at the reseller conference not too long ago in Montreal. You can see I have a master file, I have my sample file, and they have lots of colors in there because I want to be able to show off the color inspection. It's here on the top. We'll do the single page because we only have a single page, and there are no profiles here. Why is that? Because you can make your own. So if you have a certain amount of places that you want to always check for every single scan, then you can make a profile for that and it will remember where you want to check. So let's start with a simple check. I will use the color inspector. I will click, for example, this yellow, and you can see from the Pantone book, Pantone solid coded, this is the closest match, is Pantone 109C with a delta E difference of 0 because it is that color in the master PDF file. You can also see a list of Pantone colors that come close. to it. And then you have the LAB translation, the CMYK, and the RGB values for all of these. You can also choose your sample size. You have 1 by 1 pixel, 2 by 2, or 3 by 3, and your tolerance level for inspections. So I can put this, for example, on 3 instead of 3.5. And that is how you would look at one color. So that's how you could check your brand color, for example. Now I can use this thing with the plus on it, and you can see there are no color points currently. But I can say I want to check this cyan, this magenta, this yellow, and this black on these locations. But I could also say I want to, for example, check, well, it's only these colors in here, of course, but I want to check this blue in there as well. So you can check, I want to see in that hue, the blue there. All of these have been put with 5 by 5. Maybe I want to check that one by 2 by 2. I might want to check that one by 1 by 1. Same for this one. So you can set how many pixels you want to sample. So once again, you can check them one by one and see what the colors are. You can see the CMYK is not an exact Pantone color. There's a difference of delta E 2.2. But you can see this is 100% magenta. So this is actually really simple to see what's going on. Now I have selected my points. They are visible on the packaging. Let's do the inspection. So inspect. It remembers those points and it compares them to the exact same location on the sample file. It's finding out where exactly the file is, so it can match the locations. There we are. So we have one repeat, which makes sense. We only have one repeat on the sample file. And we have 5 differences, so because I selected 5 spots. You can see on the first one, we have a 5 by 5 selection. The delta E between these two colors is 0, because it is the exact same color. You can see it's both 100% cyan, and the RGB and LAB values are also the same. Of course, this wouldn't be possible with a scanned document. There is no way that this printed document that you have scanned in has a 0 delta E difference with their master, no matter if it is the right color. Because, yeah, printers aim to go below 2 delta E, not 0. 0 is impossible. Magenta, the same thing, 0. Oh, this one is in yellow. This means something is different. So you can see the difference in this yellow is quite big. You can actually see it flashing back and forth. The difference is delta E of 11. This is really a big difference. You can see the different values here. This is only 50% yellow, not 100. So that's where the color difference comes from. And it is detected this easily, and it even gives you delta E and it tells you what's wrong. And as usual, you can make this a critical error and give it a comment saying, well, the color is off, obviously. Or you can make it more details and say only 50%. So there we go. And then we can go to the last one. This is no difference, and this is no difference as well. But you see how accurately it found the same position on the hue on both the master and the sample. It is actually a really accurate location. So that's how accurate you can be with this. And if you want to save this, you can create a profile that lets you always want to use these exact spots for measurements. So if you have reprints for a certain packaging and you want to check the same spots as before, you can just simply load the profile for that. And that is the color inspection module. That was the last module that we were going to go over today. So what have we seen today? We have done the graphics inspection, which shows you a pixel by pixel difference between two files. The print inspection, which is underneath there, that shows you the pixel by pixel difference, not between two PDF files, but between the PDF file and a scan of the printed file, for which, once again, a really good lineup of presses is available from GlobalVision themselves. Then we have the spelling inspection, which is, as you would expect, a spell check, but with the extra good things of being able to incorporate a whole medical library, a pharma library, and to be able to integrate your own libraries, as well as doing a spell check for a lot of different languages and not just for your general English. Then we have the Braille inspection, which is able to decode Braille, compare Braille to between master and sample, and tell you the quality of the Braille as well. We have the text inspection, which is able to compare text from a docx file or from a PDF file to a laid out packaging file and tell you all the differences, even if the file is bold, even if a period is missing, even if an accent is missing, anything like that. Also in different languages. We have the barcode, which is able to decode a barcode for you and grade it from A to, I guess, F instantly, tell you what's up. And we have the color inspection, which can tell you the color differences between two files. Now, this one is tricky. As I said before, you have to have a scanner that incorporates the X-rite spectrophotometer because you need the the color, you need an accurate color measurement of your file to be able to tell the difference between it. In your master PDF, of course, the color is embedded in the PDF for each place that you want to select. But in your scan, normally you wouldn't have the color values in there. So you need to use a scan that has been measured properly for the color, and GlobalVision has thought of that and created, together with X-Rite, a flatbed scanner and a roll scanner that incorporates the X-Rite spectrophotometer to do that for you. And that was the color module. Now, if you have any questions about the the program, about any of the modules, about anything that you still have questions about, please go ahead and ask now. We already went 10 minutes over time, so I will keep it short. Anything that that I'm not able to answer right now, we will handle by email. You can just email to support at4piece.com, and we will help you out. If you want to try this out and you want to have a trial of this software, please contact orders@4piece.com. I will actually go back to the slide so you can see the email addresses again. There we are. At the right, you see my name again. You can see my email. On the left, you see support@4piece.com, orders@4piece.com. We will help you out as good as we can with anything you need for this.